guys, there's no need to panic. We totally got this. We can make this work. Oh, hi. My name is Robin Sales, and I'm with Launching Your Success. And chances are you're watching this video because, like many events, corporate meetings, and small business trainings, you're now doing everything online over the next couple of weeks in the wake of the national health crisis that we're currently dealing with. And that's wonderful. Online facilitation is a wonderful way for teams and people to stay connected. However, online facilitation requires its own special set of skills. There's a little bit of an art to it. I've been doing facilitation for the last 20 years, and personally, I've hosted thousands upon thousands of hours of online meetings, trainings, and coaching. So I put together this quick video of my top 5 tips for facilitating anything online. Tip number 1, assume that people don't know anything. There are some things that come along with online meetings and online coaching and training that you think people would just know. You take for granted that they understand how this stuff works. And probably most of the time they do, but we've just asked a whole lot of people to completely upend and change their lives. They're used to going into an office or a building every day, and now they're staying home and they're trying to figure out how this all works. So things that should seem fairly simple and obvious won't be, because they're already dealing with so much change and so much information. So make sure that you spell out all of the information and all of the instructions as clearly as possible. In the training world, we use this thing called tell them, tell them, tell them. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. Repeat the information they need to know in order to access the online event, what to do when they're in the online event, and what they're going to do after the online event. Repeat that information as much as possible. Assume that they don't know how to do even the simplest, most obvious things, and explain it. Because in the wake of all this change, somebody is going to panic and forget how to dial into the conference call. That's just how human brains work. So, tip number 1, assume that they don't know anything and explain everything in complete detail and repeat it often. Tip number 2, have support before, during, and after your online event. Whether it's a coaching or a meeting or a large-scale event, you, as the host and the facilitator, need support. You need support to make sure you have all the equipment that you need, that your internet is running fast and smooth. During the event, you need support to be watching the chat rooms and watching the questions that are coming in so that you can stay focused on the information you need to deliver. And then after the event, you need support to make sure that everyone's questions have been answered. There's a lot of stuff that'll come at you when you're hosting an online event. And if you're trying to do it by yourself, you're gonna mess something up. So have support. Rally a volunteer, rally an employee, hire a professional firm to come in and help you run this thing. However you can get it, get yourself some support before, during, and after the event so that everything runs smooth and the people who need the information you're providing can actually get it. Step number 3, plan for engagement. Online facilitation can very quickly turn into a lecture series. And I don't care if it's a coaching, a meeting, or a big scale event, if all you've got is someone on camera talking at the people who are watching on the other side of the screen, let me tell you, that's no fun for anybody. So if you want to keep people engaged, if you want to have a little bit of fun with it, there has to be some sort of interaction, even if we're not in the same room together. And in order to pull that off successfully, you have to plan for it. So I want you to think about what sort of tools and functionality are built into whatever platform you're going to use to host your online event. Can you get people talking to you in the chat field? Do you have raise your hand and reaction icons they can use? Maybe you can put people into breakout rooms so they can talk to each other on camera. Maybe you can invite people on camera to ask you questions and respond to those questions. Right now, as soon as you're done watching this, go look and see what the function and the features of your particular online platform are and plan for how you're going to use them to their maximum capability in order to maximize engagement in your event. Because quite frankly, if you want anyone to remember what they saw and what they heard during that event, you have to have engagement. Tip number 4, speaking of plans, what is your contingency plan? Plan B, Plan C, Plan D, E, F, G, H, Y, Z. You could get to that point. Have multiple contingency plans in place for when things go wrong. Remember, a lot of us are coming into the online facilitation space cold. We have no idea what we're doing. Those of us who are hosting these things and those of us who are participating in these things. So what happens if your internet goes out? What happens if the audio goes out? What happens if your camera freezes up? What happens if you have employees and students who don't have access to internet or a computer at home? You know, we tend to think of things online, the internet being a ubiquitous part of everybody's everyday life, but it's really not. And you may be surprised to find out that some people you're trying to reach in this circumstance where they're forced to stay at home may not have the proper access to the internet or the quality of access to the internet that they would need to fully participate in your online event. So you need a contingency plan. If they can't fully participate or if something crashes on your end, how else are you going to get this information to them? Can you send out a PDF? Can you create a shared document online? Can you follow up with a phone call or have an emergency conference call line set up? These are just a few ideas, but what's most important is you need to think about what could go wrong and have a plan in place to address that. Lastly, tip number 5 is bring your heart into these events. Have some compassion and certainly have some patience. You know, we're all human beings and we're all really quickly scrambling, trying to figure out how to make this sudden online communication work and work effectively for the people that we care about, for the people that we work with. So have a little compassion for that. If you're a participant, you know, go into it with an open mind and understand that the people running this online event, this may be the first time they're ever doing it, and they're just trying to figure out how it works. So have a little patience, cut them some slack. You know, if you're the host, understand that your participants are dealing with all sorts of other things while they're trying to get on to your online event. So have a little patience. Understand that you're going to have to repeat yourself, that it's going to have to be somebody's job to figure out how to fix people's audio problems and fix people's camera problems and get them connected and get them the resources they need, because they literally just have so much going on in their brain right now that the easiest things will just fall off of the radar. So if we all have a little patience and we all have a little compassion and we just work together, we can make these new online meetings and trainings and events work to our advantage and get us through until we can all get back in the room and have a shared experience in person. Thank you so much for watching. Look, there's no call to action at the end of this. I just know how difficult it can be to facilitate online, and I want to help everyone who's out there scrambling to figure out how to make it work right now. If I can do anything else to help you, if you have questions or need a little bit of advice, my email address is either in the description to this video or in the comments below this video, depending on where you're watching it. Everybody hang in there. We're all going to get really good with camera and audio by the time this global pandemic is over, and I will see y'all on the other side of it.